عشان ما نخسره وبرفعه على اليوتيوب إن شاء الله. أوكي. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the three variable K-map. Still, the map is drawn in 2 dimensions, but we used it in a way to allow 3 variables to share it. So let's try now to figure out which of these squares corresponds to which of these min-terms or these rows in the truth table. Here, for example, this square, it is 0, 0, 0. So 0, 0, 0, it is 0. So this is basically min-term 0. This 0, 0, 1, so this is 1. 0, 1, 1, which is 3, 0, 1, 0, which is 2, 1, 0, 0, which is 4, 1, 0, 1, 5, this is 6. If you continue doing that, this is 7. And let's try to figure out what is the logic expression for each of these squares. For this square, for example, it is very straightforward. If I ask you where is the location of this square in terms of x, y, and z?
دكتور كلهم بار x بار y بار z بار.
Yeah, we want to see how how is that related to the regions of different variables. So this square is basically in the x bar region, in the y bar region, and in the z bar region. So of the intersection, it is the intersection of x bar, y bar, and z bar. So it is x bar, y bar, z bar, which is essentially the sum of min-terms the sum of min-term expression for min-term 0. For this one, it is in x bar, it is in y bar, and it is in z. So it is x bar intersection with y bar, or it is and with y bar and with z, which is the logic expression logic expression for min-term 1. Same thing here, it will be in x bar, y, z. It is x bar, y intersection with z. Same thing here, this will be x bar, y, z bar. This will be x, y bar, z bar. This is x, y bar, z. This is x, y, z. This is x, y, z bar. So it's very important to know how to find the logic expression for any of these squares based on the assignment of different squares in terms of the variables. So this is the map. Similar to the case of 2 variables, this will be fixed. We will adopt this setup, this configuration, this structure, because other resources, if you look to other textbooks, if you look to over the internet, you may see different structures, but at the end of the day, they give you the same answer. But in order to speak the same language, we will use this structure. Okay, so this is the 3 variable case. Let's take some examples, 2 or 3 examples to demonstrate the idea. Let's say we have some function I will remove this in order. Okay, so for example, let's say example, draw and fill the K-map for f of x, y, z equals sum of midterms 2, 3, 6, 7. 2, 3, 6, and 7. Let's make it, let's see, 0, 1, better, in order 0, 1, 6, and 7. So it's very straightforward. Function of three variables. We draw the three variable K-map. This is the three variable K-map. This is for function f. We have x, y, z. So this is x. This is x bar. This is y bar. This is y. This is z. This is z bar, and this is z bar. By time you will memorize it, and you will start to drop, as we did in the two variable case. You will start to drop the small details like this. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So basically, this is the map. So we let's fill it. We have midterm 0, 1, 6, and 7. So it will be, there is a 1. These are midterms. So this is a 1, this is a 1, this is 1, and this is 1. We have 4 ones for this function, and which are 0, 1, 6, and 7. So we fill these squares with ones. Then the rest are zeros. Usually we don't have to fill the zeros because they are implied. If they are not ones, then they are zeros. So this is the example. This is what is required by the example. However, let's try to do what we did in the two variable case. Let's try to simplify this function using algebra and see how does this correspond to the map. So f is basically midterm 0, midterm 1, midterm 6, and midterm 7. So midterm 0 is essentially x bar, y bar, z bar. Midterm 1 is x bar, y bar, z. Midterm 6 is x bar, is x, y, z bar, x, y, z. I did not do anything. I just wrote the sum of midterm expression of the function in algebraic form. Now let's try to minimize, and it is very trivial. It is very straightforward to recognize that we can simplify this logic expression by starting to take, by taking out x bar, y bar as common factor. So this will be x bar, y bar, z, or z bar. Also, here we have xy common factor. So if we take x, y, z bar, or z, so this will end up with x bar, y bar, x, y. Right? Straightforward, very straightforward. And if you look at these two terms, you cannot go any further. This is the last thing that you can get. You cannot go beyond this step because there is nothing common. Essentially, this is, if you remember, this is the logic expression for XNOR. And XNOR expressions, they cannot be simplified. So this is what we do in algebra. Now, let's see how does this correspond to what we have on the map. For example, for this one, for this midterm, it is this one, right? For this midterm, it is this square. When we did this operation by taking x bar, y bar out, we essentially ended up with x bar and y bar. If you ask yourself on the map, where is x bar? Where is the intersection between the x bar region and the y bar region? It is essentially these two squares. So similar to what we had in the two variable case, these two squares are adjacent to each other. They differ in the state of one variable, and in this case, it is z bar z. So we can combine them together. In other words, in algebra, we can take this as a common factor. The same thing here, if you look, this is min term 6, min term 7, min term 6, which is this and this. You take this out, you cancel z bar. So where is x and y? Where is the region x intersection with y? This is x. This is the region of x, right? And this is the region of y. Where is the intersection? It is this. So basically, I can combine them into one rectangle. And the logic expression of this rectangle is basically x and y. It is the intersection between x and y. So we end up with this expression. And for the other two midterms, we ended up with this. Note that we cannot combine this rectangle with this rectangle because they don't have common edge. They don't
ممكن
have,
أسأل سؤال؟
yeah, just a second. They don't have common edge. They have common point. And that's what we got in algebra. We cannot simplify any further. We cannot simplify any further. Yes, go ahead.
بس دكتور أنا بتذكر إنه إذا كان لما نأخذ الريكتانجلز ونمثلهم بالالجبرا بس يكون في عندنا حرف متكرر منه نفسه مثلا زد وزد بار ما بنكتبه بالاكسبريشن صح؟
ما بنكتبه بالاكسبريشن. اوكي.
يعني مثلا هون بهاي الحاله اكس بار واي بار بس موجودين بس الزد بار والزد موجود فما بنكتب الزد بار والزد بس بنكتب الاكس بار والواي بار صح؟
ما هي هاي النقطة اللي أنا عم بحكي فيها. If I ask you what is the location of this rectangle in terms of the three variables, you tell me for this rectangle is x is fixed, y is fixed, but z is changing. So I cannot include it in the expression. Or if you think of it visually, this is the region. This is basically the intersection of x and the intersection with of x with what? With y.
تمام دكتور تمام يسلم عليك.
تمام. Okay. So this is the basic idea. If you get this, then you are done. The K-maps are very straightforward, very simple to work with. Let's take another example. And the last example, then we go to the 4-variable case. So I don't need the truth table anymore in these examples. Example, draw and fill the K-map of f of a, b, c equals product of max terms 0, 1, 2, 3. So what we have here is a function given as a product of max term, but it is straightforward. Max terms are basically the zeros. Max terms are basically the zeros, so we can simply find the min terms, which are the ones, or we simply fill the map with these numbers as zeros, and the rest are the ones. So this is a 3-variable K-map, and the variables are A, B, C. So let's draw it. The structure is fixed. 8 squares that correspond to 8 possible minterms. Function f. The most significant variable is A, and the rest of variables are B, C, and the order is important. This is 1, this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. Based on this assignment, this is A, this is A bar, this is Y. Y is not changing here, so it is Y bar. This is Y. Here Z is not changing, so it is Z, Z bar, Z bar. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. You need to jump to get to 6 in order to make every two adjacent squares differ in one variable. So it is just, so now we have these are the zeros. We can say we have 0 at 0, 0 at 1, 0 at 3, 0 at 2. So basically the rest are ones. Regardless of how you think about it, this is it is the same approach. Either if you are if you are working with the zeros, or if you are working with ones, it is the same. So that's it for the example. However, let's try to do the same trick. Let's try to simplify using algebra. So F is basically sum or product of max terms 0, 1, 2, 3, or it is sum of min terms 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the ones 4, 5, 6, and 7. The zeros are this. Either you try to simplify starting from product of max terms or sum of min terms. It's up to you. But usually, as you can know that by this time you know that working with sum of min terms or sum of products is easier than working with the max terms and product of sums. So if I take this, it is min term 4, min term 5, min term 6, and min term 7. If I write it in terms of logic expression, it is A, B, C, min term 4, or A, B, C bar 5, or min term 6, which is A, B, C bar, min term 7, A, B, C. So these are, this is the sum of min terms. If we look here, A, B bar, so I can take this common factor, so it will become A, B bar, or this AB, this is AB, AB, take it out, I will end up with AB bar, AB. On the map, if I try to match this with the map, if I take this and this, then I'm working with 4 and 5, with 4 and 5. So if I take this common factor, this implies that I can combine them. And without looking at the algebra, I can now, by now, I know that if I have two ones in two adjacent squares, I can combine them into a larger rectangle or square. The same thing for this case. I have min term 6, min term 7, two ones in two adjacent squares. I can combine them into a larger square or rectangle. The logic expression for this one is A intersection, why did I put Z? This is B, I'm sorry, C bar, C bar. يس هي مظبطهم شرف. ما هو عين على الشات وعين على اللوح. فشوي الصوت مش شغال زيد. I don't know. يعني I think الجميع سامع. Try to log out, log in. ما بعرف جرب. anyway المحاضرة مسجلة يعني if you cannot catch up with us راح ارفعها على اليوتيوب انا اول ما يعني بعد ما اخلص لانه بده وقت السيستم قبل ما يعطيني اياها فبرفعها اول ما تصير عندي وبحط اللينك تبعها على الاي ليرنينج. اوكي تمام. ف this rectangle is basically in the A region and in the B region, so it is in the B bar region, so it is A intersection with B bar, so it is A B bar. And this rectangle is in the A region and in the B region, so it is A and B. It is A and B. However, if we look at the expression that we got here, we can see that we can take A as a common factor also, B bar. So this will become A. On the map, if we look at what we got on the map, we have this rectangle and they have this rectangle. And these two rectangles, they share this side. And as we agreed, if we have two rectangles or squares adjacent, they have adjacent to each other, I can combine them. So now I can combine this rectangle with this rectangle. I can combine this rectangle with this rectangle into a bigger rectangle. And yes, I'm combining the 4 small squares into a single rectangle. And this rectangle, the biggest rectangle that we have here, is solely located in region A, which is what we got here. This rectangle, the big rectangle, is simply rectangle in the A region. It is in the A region. So without doing all this stuff, we can do it on the map visually. We don't have to write all this. So this is the beauty or the usefulness of the K-map. You don't have to write this. You can do this. But what I'm doing here is just to show you how combining squares on the map corresponds to doing that in algebra. Basically, we are taking advantage of the minimization theorem, which states if we have two AND expressions that are different in the state of one variable, we can cut them into A. This is the minimization theorem, if we remember, from chapter 2. So using the map will not require you to do all this stuff. This is just done for demonstration to show the relation between algebra and the map. When we use the map to simplify, we will just use the map. We will not use or write algebra. Okay, so this is another example. Let me take the last example on 3 variable K-map and then move to the 4 variable K-map. Any question?
دكتور
تفضل.
ليش طب بالماب ليش حطينا 3 فوق حطينا 1 1 بعدين 1 0 يعني هو لها سبب ولا خلص هي
ايش هي بالماب؟ ليش حطينا هدول 1 1 بعدين 1 0؟
يس ليش ما كان بالترتيب؟
لانه لو بالترتيب بتصير 0 1 1 0 1 1. لو تطلع لو كان في عندك هون في 1 وهون في 1 تمام؟ هل بقدر ادمج هدول مع بعض؟
وهون بصير في بينهم مشترك اللي هو الزد اللي هون السي.
لا بصير بينهم ما في شيء مشترك بينهم غير الاي بار. هم الاثنين في الاي بار.
تمام صح
مظبوط. الاثنين في الاي بار بس لاحظ هون عم بيتغيروا. بصير هون هذا اكس هذا بصير بي سي بار وهذا بصير بي بار سي. فلاحظ الستيت بيناتهم مختلفه بتو فاريبلز. فمجرد بس اني بس بدلت اماكنهم بالالجبرا يعني ممكن زي كانه هذا كان هون وانا جبته هون بس. فهي شغله بسيطه شغله ترتيب مش اكثر عشان اضمن يعني الطريقه اللي رتبنا فيهم هدول المربعات الهدف منها بس اضمن انه اي مربعين بيناتهم edge their logic expression differs in one variable only بس عشان اقدر ادمجهم مع بعض او in algebra in order to be able to take a common factor out. All right?
اوكي تمام.
Other questions? الفيديو واضح، الصوت واضح للجميع؟
دكتور كل شيء تمام.
كل شيء تمام. excellent. اوكي. خلينا ناخذ اخر اكزامبل معلش بس لانه في فكره لازم برضه توصل لكم. اكزامبل بسيط سريع. نفس الشيء draw the fill the K-map if مثلا of WXY equals sum of minterms 0 2 بس 0 و 2 straightforward 3 variable K-map.
دكتور هاي باخذ فيها الاطراف صح؟
طول بالك علينا مين شرف بتحكي؟
للاسف عشان نعيد الماده مش اكثر.
انا عارف. طيب يس شرف ذاتس واي انا حطيت الاكزامبل هذا بدي الناس الثانيين يتصوروا الفكره اللي عم تحكي فيها. ف WXY the vertical direction of for the most significant variable W bar this is 1 this is 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 0 so this will be X. This will be X, but this is X bar, this is X. Here we have 1, 1, Y is fixed, so this is Y. The rest is Y bar. Y bar, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have two minterms for this function. We have two minterms for this function, and these minterms are 0 and 2. So this is the map, draw and fill the map. Let's try to simplify this function using algebra or without using algebra. Let's try to simplify this function using the map directly. Simplifying using the map is basically trying to combine squares because the more squares that you combine, the less is the size of the logic expression at the end. So can we combine this square with this square? The rule that we have in order to combine squares is the squares have to be adjacent. They should have a common edge or common side or shared edge. Do these squares have common edge? Visually, no, but effectively they do. Because if you look here, for this square, it is minterm 0. It is 0, 0, 0, this square. For this square, it is 0, 1, 0. So if you write the logic expression for this minterm, W bar, X bar, Y bar, this is W bar, X bar, Y, right? So the logic expressions for these two minterms, they differ in the state of Y. This implies if you do that in algebra, you will be able to cancel Y out. On the map, this is equivalent to combining this square with this square, but visually they are not adjacent, but effectively they are adjacent. So we can say we can take this with this square. Because as I tell the student usually, this map is essentially a cylinder. It is something like this. It's something like this. It is a cylinder, but we open it. We open it to become something like this. So this edge is essentially touching this edge. So this edge is essentially touching this edge. So it is a cylinder. It is like this. And then we roll it like this. So this edge becomes touching this edge. So this square on the map is basically adjacent to this square. This square is
مش لازم اكس بار، هي لا بتاخذ الاكس مش الواي من تحت عشان نرتبهم دبليو اكس واي، فبتاخذ الاكس مش الواي كانه.
يس هي اصلا اكس واضح هون انه اكس اللي بتتغير، هي دبليو اكس بار واي بار، هون دبليو اكس واي بار. So x is changing. So we take x out. And this is basically, you will come up to this mistake. You will figure out this mistake that I did here when you try to read the logic expression for the red rectangle. If I tell you where is this red rectangle located, you'll tell me it is in W bar. It is in W bar intersection with Y bar, intersection with y bar. So for this logic expression, it is w bar and y bar. And this is what you get if you try to simplify this. You will take w bar, y bar common factor, and this leaves x or x bar inside. So it will be w bar, y bar. So this red rectangle, which combines this square with this square, is essentially w bar ANDed with y bar, ANDed with y bar. Okay. Yeah, shukran Hazar, shukran Yazan. Yeah. But I will figure, I will figure that out. I would have figured that out when I write the logic expression for the red rectangle. Okay, so this is the idea I wanted to give in this example, is that these squares are adjacent to these squares. These squares are adjacent to these squares through this edge. So this edge is the same as this edge. All right, any question? Okay, so if we get this, the 4 variable case is very similar. Despite the fact that we have 4 variables, still we will use 2 dimensions. In other words, we will let variables share dimensions. In the 3 variable case, one of the variables has 1 dimension, but the other 2 variables shared the other dimension. So let's go to the 4 variable. 4 variable K-map. Now, in the 4 variable K-map, how many possible minterms we have? We have 16. How many possible input combinations? 16. How many possible rows in the truth table? 16. So in the map, we will have 16 small squares arranged in a certain way that can help us in the simplification. So I will go straight forward. I will not draw the truth table. The truth table will be very simple. It will be from minterm 0, 0, 0, 0 up to 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way down. Let's say we have A, B, C, D, and some function F, minterm 0 and minterm 1 is 15. And we know that the logic expression for each of these minterms, this will be A bar, B bar, C bar, D bar, right? A bar, B bar, C bar, D bar. This will be A, B, C, D, and so on. Now, this is the map. This is the table, I'm sorry. The map is basically still a 2-dimensional structure. That contains 16 small squares, 16 small squares. So, and these small squares are arranged in the following, as the following. So these are the 16 squares. And this is the truth table for F, the map for F. And we have 4 variables, A, B, C, D. So we will take 2 variables, which are the most significant variables, and we'll give them 1 dimension. The other 2 variables will be given the other dimension. So our convention is, this is the dimension for A, B, and this is the dimension for the other variables. And the values of A, B are 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. The same idea that we did in the 3 variable case. We jump. We have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. Same case here, CD, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So now, where are the regions? Where is A? Where is A bar? Where is B? Where is B bar? And so on. If you look at the vertical direction, here we have 0, 0, 0, 1. So this variable is fixed to 0, which is A. So this region is A bar. So these two rows have A bar in their logic expressions. In the other two cases, we have 1, 1, 1, 0. So A is fixed to 1 while B is changing. So for sure, this is A region. This is the A region. Now, where is B? B, we will write it here. It shares this dimension, but we will write it here. Here we have 0, 1, 1, 1. 0, 1, 1, 1. So B is fixed. 1, 1. So this is B. These two rows have variable B not complemented. And B bar is basically this. This is B bar, and this is B bar. If you look here, 0, 1, 1, 0. So B is fixed to 0, but B A is changing. So this is B bar, and this is B bar. The same thing here. We have 0, 0, 0, 1. So C is fixed, and it is complemented. So this is C bar. 1, 1, 1, 0. So C is fixed to 1, by D is changing. So this is the region of C. Similarly, this is D, and this is D bar. This is D bar. So now we know the region for each of these variables. Where are the minterms? Straightforward. This square, it is 0, 0, 0, 0. So it is minterm 0. Minterm 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. It is 1. For this one, it is 0, 0, 1, 1, which is 3, 2. This will be 4, 5, 6, 7. Type hat, where is 8? This, for this square, what is the minterm that corresponds to this square? It is 1, 1, 0, 0, which is 12. So this is 12. It is not 8. This will be 13. This will be 14. This will be 15. 8 is here. 1, 0, 0, 0. So this is 8, 9, 10, 11. So in the form, similar to the, if you take the upper half of the map, this is the 3 variable K map, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, because we have changed the order of the rows here, we need to jump in the vertical direction when we go from 7 to 8. So here we jump 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The way this is important, this arrangement is important in order to make adjacent squares differ in one variable, which allows us to combine squares and do the simplification. I will not write the logic expressions for all of the squares, but for example, this square is in the A bar region, in the B bar region, and in the C bar region, and in the D bar region. So it is A bar, B bar, C bar, D bar, right? It is in A bar, intersection with B bar, intersection with C bar, intersection with D bar. So basically it is the logic expression for minterm 0. The same thing, for example, here. Number 15, it is in the A region, intersection with the B region, you end up with this row. Intersection with C, you end up with these two squares. Intersection with D, you end up with this square, which is A, intersection with B, intersection with C, intersection with D, which is the logic expression for minterm 15. Logic expression for minterm 15. Try to fill the rest, and of course, you can verify whether you are doing it right or not. But try to fill them by figuring out the regions of intersection, then write the logic expression for the minterm the same way we did in chapter 2 to verify that you figured out the expression from the intersection of the regions correctly. Okay, so this is the 4 variable K map. The same thing. Yes, Mohammed. go back to this to the what we wrote earlier in the examples. Yes, we changed the order of the midterms on the map. Just we, instead of putting this square here, we put it here in order to make every two squares with a shared or common side differ in the state of one variable. In the algebra, this is equivalent to moving, and we can do this because this is in the algebra, this is equivalent to commutation. You تبديل. انت زي كأنك بدلت، كان عندك xy or x bar y or x y bar، تجيب x y bar جنب x y. Okay, تمام. Let's take one or two examples. Example, draw and fill the K-map for f of a, b, c, d equals sum of midterms one, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14. So these are the midterms of the function, which are the ones. So let's draw the map. For variable K-map, F, A, B, C, D. This is A, this is B, this is, no, this is A bar, مظبوط. B, B, B bar, B bar. This is C bar, C, and this is D, D bar, D bar. Let's write the midterms. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so this is the map. We just filled the ones. We have at 1, at 3, at 5, at 7, at 8, 10, at 12, and 14. So this is the map. I want you to leave some space here at home to try to simplify this function using algebra. And try to match what you get there of what we will do now in order to simplify this function. Now, simplifying the function is basically combining squares, trying to combine squares using the map. So if we start here, we can say that this one is adjacent to this one. So we can combine them together into one big rectangle. Also, this one is adjacent to this one. So we can combine them into one square. And this square is adjacent, sorry, this rectangle is adjacent to this rectangle, right? We can combine them into larger rectangle. And what is the logic expression for this rectangle? It is in the A bar region intersection with D bar. So if you intersect these two rows with these two columns, you end up with this region, which is A bar and D. So this is the logic expression for this rectangle. The same thing here. We can say this one is adjacent to this one. We can combine them into one rectangle. This one is adjacent to this one. We can combine them into one rectangle. And similar to the case of the three variable K-map, this side is basically the same as this side. So we can combine these two squares or rectangles into a bigger rectangle. And where is this rectangle located? It is in A intersection with D bar. A intersection with D bar. So this, the logic expression for this is A intersection with D bar. So now, what is the logic expression for this function? It is F equals. Can we combine the green rectangle, this green rectangle, with this green rectangle? The only condition in which we can combine is to have a shared edge, or the squares or rectangles have to be adjacent. And this rectangle is not adjacent to this rectangle. So we cannot combine. So basically we write F is A bar D or A D bar. And this is what you should get if you simplify this function using algebra. This is what you will get if you simplify the function using algebra. You cannot simplify it anymore. And here we covered all the ones that represent the function. So we are done. So in the space that you should have left, if you do this simplification in algebra, you will end up with this expression. You will end up with this expression. Now, somebody may ask, why did you start like this? You took this one with this one because they are adjacent. Is not this one adjacent to this one? Yes, it's the same. If you say, I will take this with this and this with this, then you can combine this rectangle with this rectangle to end up with the same big rectangle. The same thing here, somebody may have taken this with this and this with this because they are adjacent, right? They are adjacent. And then you can say, I will combine this black rectangle with this black rectangle, but you will end up with this. In algebra, this is equivalent to switching terms, to commutation, changing the place of one min term to another place. You will see that when you do it in algebra. Please try to do it using algebra. So it is the same. Whether you take the red ones, then you combine them, you take the black ones, you combine them, it is the same. You will end up with the same big rectangle. All right. Okay, so this is for this is the case for the four variable K-map. Now in the slides, if you go to the slides, it shows you the structure of the 5 variable case. And it is not required in this course, but if you try to think how to lay out the 32 small squares that correspond to the minterms in the 5 variable case, you will end up that you cannot stick to 2 dimensions. You need to go to 3 dimensions. So if you are interested, check the slides and see how the 32 small squares are arranged in the 5 variable case. All right. Any question? It is very.
دكتور
Yes.
بس سؤال سريع. هلا بالامتحان يعني ممكن يسألني يعني يحكي لي فرجيني تبسيط باللوجيكال بالالجبرا يعني ولا خلاص بالماب بطلع له الاكسبريشن مباشرة؟
لا يعني طالما احنا بلشنا نحكي في الكي ماب okay, you should simplify using K-map. Unless I tell you simplify using algebra, you will use algebra. But if I tell you simplify using the K-map, you don't have to show me how you simplify it in algebra. يعني بطل في فائدة للكي-map أصلا بهذه الحالة. إحنا أصلا يعني توجهنا للكي-map. We are using the K-map حتى نتخلص من مشاكل الالجبرا. مظبوط؟
Yes.
Okay. So this is what we want in terms of structure. We will not cover the structure of the fair variable case. So let's go to the, before we end up the class, we have 10 minutes. Section 3.2, I guess, which is the map manipulation. Basically, how to use, in this section, we will show how to use the map to simplify logic expressions and different forms, as a sum of product, as a product of sum, which is something that we had an idea from, we have an idea from on it from the previous section, because we showed how to simplify. But here we will put the steps clearly in order to use the map to simplify it. However, before we start, let's put some definitions. Let's put some definitions. Okay. We want to use the map to simplify logic expressions or logic functions or logic functions. To simplify, we may consider the ones or the zeros on the map. ما بتفرق. It makes no difference. The goal, or this can be achieved by finding the largest and fewest rectangles that include all the ones or zeros. So basically, we will draw the map, we will fill the map with the ones or zeros, depends how you think about it. Then we will try to combine these squares that contain the ones and zeros, and we will try to find the largest set of rectangles and the fewest set of rectangles that cover all the ones or all the zeros. That's the idea, basically, that is the idea. In order to find this set of fewest and largest rectangles, we need to make the following definitions. So in order to find these rectangles that are the biggest, the rectangles that are the fewest, we need the following definitions. Number one is implicant. Implicant. Okay, let me write it. Number one is the implicant. What is an implicant on the map? What is an implicant on the map? Basically, it is a rectangle, any rectangle. It is a rectangle on the map, that contains, it is a rectangle on the map that contains one or more one. يعني أي مستطيل أي مربع على الماب يحتوي على 1 أو أكثر من الوانز تبعت الفانكشن. لكن في شرط إضافي. There is an additional condition here such that the number of ones is power of 2. لازم يكون عدد الونز power of 2. يعني إما يكون مربع صغير واحد أو مربعين أو 4 أو 8 أو 16 and so on. So this is, it will become clear when we take examples from the map. It will become clear what is an implicant. So an implicant, basically, it is any rectangle that you can draw on the map to include one or more small rectangles, but under the condition that the number of small rectangles is power of 2. Number 2, the prime implicant. Prime implicant. So it is another or a special type of implicant. So it is an implicant, but we call it prime implicant. We call it prime implicant. Prime implicant is basically an implicant, but there is another condition on this implicant. It is basically the largest rectangle, or implicant, basically. The largest implicant that can be defined in a certain region in the map. So if you have a set of ones on the map, you might be able to define different implicants to contain these ones. But the largest implicants that contain these ones, all these ones, at that location in the map is called a prime implicant. And when we do simplification, usually we are concerned with finding the prime implicants. We are concerned with finding the prime implicants because, as we wrote earlier, we are looking for the largest squares or the largest rectangle. Yes, now, Jumana, if you try to find the largest rectangles that cover the ones, all the ones or all the zeros of the function, you will end up using the fewest number of rectangles. The fewest number of rectangles, given that they cover all the ones. We will come to this later. We'll come to this later to see what is the meaning of largest and the fewest, and how does this affect the cost of the logic expression. But let me end up the definitions, and next time we will take examples. 3 essential prime implicant. By the way, this usually write it for short PI, and this is for short we write it EPI, essential prime implicant. So basically it is an implicant, and it is a prime, which means it is the largest implicant that we can define in each at any region in the map. However, it has additional property. It has an additional property which is essential, being essential. So what is meant by this? What is this type of implicant? Basically, it is a prime implicant. It is a PI. It is a prime implicant. Okay. So what is the difference between EPI and PI? It is a prime implicant. It means it is the largest rectangle that you can draw at that region in the map that contains one or more that can be covered, or let me write it another way. One that is only covered in this PI. So when you sometimes when you try to draw rectangles to include all the ones of the function, and you try to make them the biggest, you may find that some of these prime implicants or biggest rectangles, they contain ones that are only contained in this prime implicant. And in this case, this prime implicant is called essential, and it is essential in the sense that you need to include it as part of your logic expression when you write the final logic expression of the function. So they are essential in terms of the fact that you need to put them, to put this prime implicant as in your logic, in your simplified logic expression. Next time, we will look at examples on these, and basically we will use these two. We don't look for implicants. When we do simplification, we look for prime implicants, and the essential prime implicants. So this is what we want to find from the map. If we find these, then we can simplify any logic function. And the idea is very straightforward. All right, any question? Yeah, it's taking some time. It's taking longer actually to deliver the same material when compared to delivering it in class, but this is what we have. ما فيش عندنا خيار آخر. يعني this is شكله راح يطول الوضع. يعني ابتداء من اليوم we need to do this for 2 more weeks. بعرف إنه مريح نوعا ما بالنسبة لكم، بالنسبة لي من ناحية من جوانب معينة، لكن الله يجيب الفيه الخير. يعني hopefully هالأزمة تؤدي على تمر على خير ونقدر نرجع يعني للحياة الطبيعية. إذا في أي أسئلة قبل ما نسكر؟ أوكي. مهند، يعني شو نسوي؟ يعني محاضرة عادية صعب. الجامعة شبه مسكرة أصلاً، فحيكون صعب. كل الجامعات كل الأردن مسكرة أصلاً، فما راح يزبط. we need to live with this for the time being. هي شغلة تعويد. يعني أنا مش مرتاح أصلاً أنا وبشرح، لكن مع الوقت نتعود إن شاء الله. يمكن تصيروا تحكوا لي بلاش اليوم نيجي، خلينا ناخدها أونلاين. ممكن حتى لو ما نرجع يعني تصير هيك انطباعكم عن الموضوع. لكن الله يجيب الفيه الخير. يعطيكم العافية. راح أرفع الريكوردينج على اليوتيوب إن شاء الله once إنه I have it from the system، وبحط اللينك تحت بالفيرتشوال كلاس روم إن شاء الله. يعطيكم العافية.